So I have an update on the store that Zohran Mamdani would love out there in Kansas City, Missouri, and it's not a good one. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you an update on a store that New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani would love because it is taxpayer funded. And not just a little bit of taxpayer money. We're talking about $29 million from Kansas City, Missouri residents have been dumped into this grocery store, which is now closing. I did a video on this a few weeks ago, and the writing was on the wall back then. You go into the store, the shelves are empty, and the things that are in the store are rotten, old, and expired. It was only a matter of time before this taxpayer-funded experiment came to an end. And this, in my humble opinion, will be the future of stores like this in a place like New York City if Zohran becomes the mayor and if he enacts the plan that he mentioned earlier in his campaign. Now, before I go any further into it, let's get to the actual clip. Of course, I will link to this video in the box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
A surprise to customers and neighbors today. The Linwood Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect officially closed this morning. Now, this is a story we've been following for weeks now. That store has struggled since it opened, finding it difficult to turn a profit and dealing with crime in the area, keeping customers away.
Absolutely. So we've listened to the voices of neighbors and employees who shared their concerns about that store.
A lot of people hanging out, drinking, drugging, having sex, just going to sleep.
It's just people have to feel safe to come inside the doors. And if they don't feel safe to come in, then it means that we may not have a job here in the next 90 days.
Now, hold on, that video right there, you see the shelves are kind of stocked a little bit. That's from August 24. So that was a year ago. Now, obviously, since then, the stores have become, the shelves have become a lot more barren.
90 days.
The store was first brought to our area as a solution to a food desert. Now, since it opened in 2018, the city has spent time and money to help pay the store's bills and deter crime.
And today we also heard from Quentin Lucas, the mayor, about that, who said today's closure was a surprise to him, too.
I met with the operators just about 2 weeks ago. We spent several hours coming up with potential solutions and approaches. I think that was a good and productive conversation, but ultimately I know there are different challenges to how a grocery store can operate. Part of that challenge is that the city certainly has been happy to be a partner, but there's always a limit to what we will invest as well.
Again, they spent $29 million on this store to keep it afloat from taxpayer money. Of course it didn't work.
KSHB 41's Alyssa Jackson has done several reports on the store in the past month. She broke the news this morning and joins us live.
Alyssa, what are shoppers being told?
Well, Gian and Kevin, just like the mayor mentioned, it was a surprise to them, and it has been a surprise to everyone that has come to the Sunfresh today. I actually got a tip from a viewer about this sign that's on both of the doors that says, due to unforeseen circumstances beyond our control, we are no longer able to serve the residents of this important community. Now, those signs mark the closure of the Sunfresh this morning, and I believe I saw the last employee walk out and lock the doors just before 3 o'clock. Now, even though the community expected the store to close at some point, it did still come as abrupt to them and employees who showed up to work today.
If they expected the store to close, then why is it a surprise? It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Maybe it's abrupt. Maybe they thought, okay, it'll close at a certain point, but it's not going to close right now. Well, when did you think it was going to close? It's got to close at a certain point.
The Sunfresh has looked like this for weeks. Empty shelves and coolers and odor throughout the store. Most of the store only had processed food available for purchase. I'll tell you what we do know. The store's ownership, a nonprofit called Community Builders, had been losing a lot of revenue with more expenses than income from its 2023 tax filing. Its landlord is the city of Kansas City, which has poured at least $1 million of funding directly into the grocery store over the years.
29 million. I have the evidence. I'll link to it in the box. But 29 million, not 1 million, 29 million.
Right now, doors are locked. Sunfresh's sign is covered up. People in this neighborhood didn't just want the store to stick around. I met a man who said he regularly volunteers his own time to help the store out because it meant that much to him.
it's a bad feeling, going down like this, much as we tried to save it, it's not working. I wish things could be different. Don't look like it's going to be today.
It was definitely a quick turn of events because I met with the city manager last week who told me that they are meeting with the owners of the Sunfresh to figure out a solution because they wanted to protect their investment, the city's investment, and the owners of the Sunfresh wanted to protect theirs. But it seems that in a week's time, there was no viable solution to keep it open. Gian and Kevin.
Alyssa, thank you so much. Well, this morning, community builders told Alyssa that they've retained legal counsel. The president and CEO shared a statement saying in part, community builders of Kansas City has been vocal for years about concerns and fears with insurmountable challenges of the KC Sunfresh Midtown location. As of today, it can no longer serve residents from this location.
All right, so there we go. Again, the Zohran Mamdani dream of having this taxpayer-funded grocery store, not really worried about profit, closes in Kansas City, Missouri. And this was inevitable. It was inevitable, which is why Zohran's plan is not going to work. You see, there are some examples of taxpayer-funded or taxpayer-assisted stores, but they're in viable communities, meaning the community can't support it. In this particular area, as most food deserts, quote unquote, are, which I don't really believe in that term. I'll talk about that in a minute. Most of these food deserts cannot support grocery stores, which is why there's no grocery store there. It's very simple. Now, most of these hoods, low-income areas, whatever you want to call it, are not that far away from a real grocery store like a Walmart or a Target or a Kroger or whatever you got. An example is in Norfolk, Virginia. They say Berkeley is a food desert, which I guess you could say it is. There's not like a Farm Fresh or nothing like that right there. But when they put a Farm Fresh right there, it stayed for a while, but of course it closed. And they say shoplifting was the reason. Well, even if there wasn't any shoplifting, which of course was probably the case in Kansas City, it was shoplifting. Even if there was no shoplifting, it's not like it was going to survive anyway. Without the shoplifting, it's still not going to buy anything. So the store cannot be profitable. Ultimately, it's going to close. Furthermore, why would I even want to go there to this little hood spot that is barely stocked? It stinks. The food ain't right. Why would I go there when I could just get in my vehicle or on a bus or something like this and go 10 minutes away to the Kroger or to a Walmart at least? A Walmart is better than that particular store when it comes to fresh produce. It's very simple, but you know what? As I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Zohran Mamdani and all of those who think that his plan of these taxpayer-funded grocery stores and quote-unquote food deserts are going to work. They're not going to work. They're food deserts for a reason. The community cannot support it. All you're going to do is just lose money. You're going to have crime. You're going to have all kind of other stuff going on. But even if not for the crime, the community does not have enough money to support these grocery stores. All you're going to do is waste a bunch of taxpayer money, New York City residents. A bunch of your taxpayer money will be wasted in these doomed to fail ventures. In Kansas City, it was $29 million from 2018 to 2025. How much will you waste, New Yorkers, on these Zohran Mamdani pipe dreams? Hopefully zero, because you don't elect him. But the way things looking right now, he'll probably be the mayor. So good luck with that. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion on this store in Kansas City finally closing? Are you shocked? Are you just taking it back? Oh my goodness, how could this happen? Or did you see it coming? I mean, I did my video a few weeks ago and I showed it. It was like, look, this is the future of these taxpayer funded stores and so-called food deserts. You're not going to solve the problem of a quote unquote food desert by placing a taxpayer funded store right there. You have to improve the community so they can support a grocery store. Without doing that, you're not going to have any kind of success at all. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.